Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a craft video for you guys. We're going to be attempting to make a macrame wall hanging, which is super on trend right now, and I thought I'd give it a shot. And yeah, I just sort of wanted something else, something a bit new to put above my bed. So we're gonna make a pretty large one. So what you're gonna need is you're gonna need some macrame cord. Now you can use white like I am, or you can use off-white or whatever floats your boat. And I've just got this, it's 50 meters and it's 6 millimeters thick. So it's quite thick, which I thought would be good for this project, just because it is a bit larger. So it'll be easier to work with as well, and hopefully 50 meters is enough. So you're also gonna need a wooden dowel of some sort. This one is about 1 centimeter thick, and I just picked it up at Spotlight. Another option is to use just a stick. It gives you more of like a natural kind of feel and everything, but when I went hunting for one, I couldn't find one that was straight enough, because you need it to be quite straight and lay flat against the wall. So it's kind of tricky to look for in a stick. So I thought I would try and make this a little bit more of a challenge. I want to incorporate this pink color in the actual wall hanging as well, just to give it something a bit, a bit something extra. So I picked up this pink wool. It is a bit thicker, so it's not going to be too thin to work with or too different to the macrame cord, but obviously I couldn't find a pink macrame cord because I would have if I could have. So of course you also need your scissors and your measuring tape just for cutting and measuring your string, of course. And last off, I thought I'd be super organized this time, because I know last time when I made my macrame plant hanging thing, I will link that down below if you haven't seen it as well. But last time I ended up with a bit too much string. So this time I thought I would plan it out, plan ahead of time. So I've drawn up this little sketch of what I want it to look like. So hopefully this means I don't end up with too much or too little string this time, and fingers crossed it all goes to plan. Alright, that's it for the introduction. Let's go start this project. I'm so excited. So with a couple bits of string, I've just made these little loops that I'm going to use to sit the dowel through. So they're just going to hang there, and it's just going to be a lot easier to work on the dowel. So if you've got like a clothes rack or something, you can do this too. I just happen to have these two nails here, so that is very convenient, isn't it? So I've got all my string, I'm just about to cut them. I don't know if I mentioned it before, everything is from Spotlight, because honestly Spotlight has everything. Alright, so I've put all the pink strings on. I cut them to roughly 3 meters each. The way that you knot them on here, this is called a lark's head knot, I think. And so each one of these things that's looped on is just one piece of string doubled over. So I'll show you how to do that one in a minute. But so far I've got all the pink ones on that I wanted. The way that I'm structuring it is there's going to be 5 sections. So we're going to have one big middle one, and then we're going to have ones that get slightly smaller and slightly shorter in length as well. So I figured I would knot 2 on per section, and then the rest of them will be in the white cord. So I'm cutting the white cord now. I figured out how many I want per section, and then just sort of worked out how much length I can afford per section. So because the middle one's going to be a bit longer than others, and then they're going to get shorter, I've allowed for that in my measurements. So in the middle section I'm going to have 10 more. I'm going to have 5 white here, 5 white here, and then we've got the pinks in the middle. So those ones are going to be 2 meters in length each, and then when they hang doubled over they'll be 1 meter obviously. Then moving on to the next section, I'm going to have 12 of these, so there'll be 6 here and 6 here, as well as the pink ones. So they're going to be 1.75 meters each. So again, that's going to be halved when they're looped over. And then moving on to the last ones, there's going to be 8 of them. So there's going to be 4 on this side, 4 on the other, and then they are going to be 1 meter each. So again, halved in length as well. I was much more generous with the pink string though, because I obviously didn't need to stress about it. I had a lot to use. So I'll show you guys how to do a lark's head knot. So first you're going to take your piece of string, fold it in half so that you've got this end here that's looped over. And the way you're going to do it is you're going to hold it against it, pull it down, you've created a little loop, and then pull the rest through, and then just tighten it however tight you'd like and position it where you want it. And that's it. So I'm going to keep on doing that. I'll do that for all of the white ones and then I'll come back to you guys. This is what it's looking like at the moment. This is just the beginning stage. However, it does take quite a bit of time. Also, as you can see, all of the strings have frayed just a little bit. I personally don't mind it because I'll probably like the frayed look at the end. But if you want to avoid this, you can burn the ends a tiny bit, or you can tape them up and then just untape them at the end. But yeah, I don't mind that. Alright, so we're going to start off working on this middle section. I'm going to start by taking the left 2 and we're going to create a square knot. So you're going to put the middle 2 strands together. The left one crosses over those middle 2, and then the right one crosses over the top of that one that went across the middle, and then it goes diagonally across the back, and then pull it up through that loop. So that's the first knot of a square knot, and now you do the opposite. So the right one's going to cross over the middle 2, the left one's going to come over that one that we just crossed over the middle 2, and then it's going to go diagonally through that loop that we created. Now I'm just going to do the same with these next 2. And then I'll do one in between them as well. So I'm trying to make sure that they're all evenly spaced, because that's what will keep it looking neat. So I'm going to repeat that same exact thing here on this side. It's all going to be symmetrical. So I decided to go ahead and put another square knot just here and here. Kind of creates this little triangle look. Next we're going to be doing a double half hitch. So we're going to be doing that diagonally here and here with the pink string. So you're going to start off, I'm going to use both pieces of string because I want the pink to continue just in those spaces, not down here. So I'm going to, still doing on each individual string, you take it, it goes over and through, and then you repeat. So it's over and through, and it should create a flat sort of little knot. So take the next bit of string and just repeat, doing twice on each piece of string. So I've finished the pink double half hitches down these sides. Now the aim is to create a square with them, but I'd also like to put a pink square in the middle. So what I'm gonna do is just taking more pink string. I've cut 2 1 meter pieces, doubled them over, and now I'm just going to attach them here. So I think I'll attach same way, so using a lark's head knot, I'm attaching it to the 2 middle pieces like so, and at the height at which I want the square to begin, and I'll attach the other one as well, and I'll continue doing the double half hitches just for probably the next 4 strings on either side. So I'll do those and then I'll bring them back together as well and then tie it off and chop off the pink. So now that I've completed this little square, I'm just going to tie these off. So I'll just tie a quick little knot at the base of them. So I'm going to continue on with these ones. So I'm just going to bring that down like a square now. Remember when you're doing the double half hitch just to change directions depending on which way you're going. So say I'm going right now, so I'll take this and make sure it always crosses over the string that you're working on. So you take it over, it goes back around and through, and then you do the same thing again. So it's still going over and around the back, pull it, and then that creates your knot. But for instance, if you're going from right to left, it's always still going over. So now that I've brought these 2 down, I'm just going to tie them together. So we're going to use the same knot, and you can pick whichever way you want to go, but I'm just going to do right over left. And do one more double half hitch. So I'm just going to make sure this is pulled really tight before I chop it, because there's no real going back. So next we're going to continue with more square knots. So I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'll try and set them quite diagonally, so I can just do a few lines of them, and I'll just keep doing them like that. So you always want to take half of one knot and then 2 fresh bits of string when you start a knot, and it just gives it that continuing look like that. And for consistency, I always start with the left piece over the middle first rather than the right, just so that all knots look the same. Once you reach the middle, try to make sure both sides line up nicely, and then take 2 from each side, and then we'll tie them together just using a normal square knot. And that is 1 row done. So I'm just going to continue that. I'll do that maybe 1 or 2 more times here, and then we'll do our smaller version of this below it. So I did 3 rows of the square knot, and now we're going to go and repeat what we did for this one. I'm just going to start it off here, but I'm going to make it a bit larger, so I'm probably only going to leave maybe 3 strings out at the side. So we'll just make a square here. I'm just going to be using pieces of string. They're a bit longer than that. We're going to need a bit more just to make a larger square. So I cut 2 2-meter pieces of the pink. Okay, I finished this square. Now I'm just going to chop these ends off again, making sure they're pulled tight, because we just want to isolate the pink. That's why I just keep including little bits of it. So I also want to put a pink dot inside this one. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of string, and I'm just going to take the middle 2 pieces, and I'm just going to tie a square knot using this. So I'm using these as my middle pieces. Now this is going to go over the middle pieces, this is going to go across that one, back behind the middle 2 pieces, and through that loop that we just created. And now I'm going to do the opposite to complete the knot. What I'm going to do, just to make sure it doesn't come undone, is I'm going to tie behind it. So this is going to come behind it. You won't be able to see it from the front. knot there. So that knot will be hidden, so I can chop. So I'm going to continue on with the square knots now. I'll do 3 more rows exactly like that, just here in this space. Alright, so we've done our 3 rows here, and now we're going to start on the next section here. Alright, so I'm just going to focus you guys in this area here. I'm going to show you how to do these 2, and then I'm going to repeat it on the other side because it'll be completely symmetrical. So we're going to start off with this section. I'm going to be doing some more double half hitches. So I'll go across this way with this side, and then I'll do the same on the other side to balance it out and hopefully create a kind of crossover in the middle. So I quite like the look of this. I think I'm going to repeat it once more, create another cross like that using the double half hitch knots. So I've started on the next part. What we're going to do are some twist knots or some spiral knots. The way that you do them is really simple. Basically, you go to do a square knot. So using 4 bits, you go to do a square knot like you normally do. You go over and then around the back and through the loop you make and pull it tight. But instead of swapping over and then doing this one over the top, you continue to do the same knot over and over again, and that's what gives it that twirling look. So I've made the middle one a little bit longer than what the sides are going to be, just because I want to continue on with this diagonal shape like this. So also with these side bits here, so you normally have 2 in the middle when you're doing a square knot. So if we're doing the spiral knot, it's the same thing, but I don't want the pink to be in the knot. So what I'm doing is I'm actually hiding it by moving it into the middle and then creating the knot around it like so. And then if you pull it tight enough, it won't actually show through the middle. So as you can see, I've followed on with the diagonal double half hitch knots. So I've just done 1 more to connect these here at the bottom, and I'm just going to chop this off, and then we're going to do a whole bunch of square knots using just the white string in this space. So I've decided to make these square knots a little bit more interesting by just pulling out the outer string before I tie this tight. It just gives it a bit of a cute little ruffle kind of look on the side. So you just pull it out a little bit, finish off the knot, make sure it's pulled out as much as you would like it to be before tightening it. And there you have it. So now I'm just going to repeat this pink section here, just down here at the bottom. I'm just going to get some more pink string. I'll probably cut off probably 2 meters per piece, and then I'll do a lark's head knot on each side just to connect it back to the string, and then continue my pattern there. Yay, the second section is finished. Woohoo! This is what it looks like. You don't know until you make one of these how time consuming it is. Oh my gosh. Moving on to the next section, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. We're going to start off by doing some square knots. So what I'm going to do here, normally you would use just 4 to create your square knot, but we're going to try and hide the pink behind it. So I'm going to include that in my middle too. I'm going to bring it down. We're going to create a V of square knots at the top and one to join them in the middle. I'm going to repeat that process once more. Next, I'm going to take the pink from behind, and we're going to be doing some double half hitch knots in sort of like a V shape there. I'm going to repeat this step on the other side. As you can see, I've left these middle 4 out. What we're going to be doing is doing some straight square knots down here. And now I'm going to continue making the V shape. So these are going to go back the other way out. Again, repeating the same thing on the other side. Once the V shapes are sitting where I want them to sit, I'm just going to tighten the outer knot and cut off the excess. Now I'm going to begin 2 more rows of square knots going this way. So now the plan is to make a pink square here using the double half hitch knots. So I have 2 loose pieces of pink string. They're both about 2 meters each, and I'm just going to be attaching them to the middle 2 strands using the knot that we used in the beginning. So one is going one way and one is going the other. And I'll pull those tightly together. So now that that's anchored on, we can begin our double half hitch knots. So we're going to do the same thing that we did in the big middle section. I'm going to be taking 2 small pieces of string, and we're just going to be doing a square knot just in the middle to add a little dot of pink. So I'll take it around behind the middle 2 pieces, and then using the middle strands as our middle strands, I'll take the left across it. The right one goes diagonally under the whole thing and back through that loop we created. And then just repeat that once more. So that's our pink square done. I'm going to continue on with more rows of the square knots now. So you always want to start from the highest point. So I'll start from the left. I'll leave a little bit of a gap. And we'll just do a normal row of square knots. The next row of square knots is going to be exactly the same, except I'm going to leave a little loop out the side, similar to this one. So in doing that, it just means pulling this one out a little bit before securing the knot. So I'm going to repeat this looped square knot process till I have 4 rows of square knots. So that finishes off this one. Now I'm just going to repeat these 2 ones on the other side just to make the whole piece symmetrical. So here's what I'm up to. I've finished all of the pieces. Now it's just time to neaten up the ends. So for each of the ends, I want them to have an angled look. So I'm going to cut them, so I'll just see where they all sort of line up, and then you look where the shortest one is, and then you cut in line with that, with the longest looking piece in the center. And I'll repeat that for each of them, so they will all be an arrow point. And we're finished. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. Give it a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more as well. And yeah, I hope it went well. I'm filming this before I've actually made it, so because I'm just anticipating that it's going to take forever. So hopefully it went well and hopefully it looks amazing. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!